until that day when all are one. We are not Autobots, nor are we Decepticons. We are warriors for our true leader, Unicron.
Hello everybody, what is up? This is Pac-Man5698, and it is Christmas morning, and by golly do I have a lot of Transformers. Thank you to my parents for all this. And yeah, now I'm going to be reviewing them. This is a whole another round of the for the Transformers line. And yeah, I got a lot of good ones. I'll bet they'll be just as good as I thought. And to start off with, here is one I was... Excuse me, I'm going crazy already. Here's one I have actually been looking to regain for some time. This is not only Sideways, but this is the Korean version of Sideways that was distributed by SOKONG. Now, Sideways in Armada, I think, is the best adaptation of Sideways. Is it all in the shot? Yeah, Sideways is essentially the herald for Unicron, and of course he switches sides. One, I think only for a few episodes he's an Autobot, and for a few more he's a Decepticon, but then he shows his true colors, and eventually he becomes he becomes the messenger for what everybody has feared, Unicron. And then he tries to get the Starsaber Sword Skyboom Shield in order for Unicron to control the world, and blah 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 blah. You get the idea, I won't spoil the ending. Now, the packaging here is actually pretty good. You even have some nice modeling for Sideways, and you even have his gimmick, but it's in Korean, so I don't know it. You have two. You have, I believe it was Rook and Crosswise, or yeah, Crockwise and Rooks, which later become his head, and you also have the other figures here. And to the side, there is, again, something I cannot speak, Korean. So now I'm going to open up this guy, and he is not a Legends class, I think, unlike the other ones. Let's see, Galvatron was big, Starscream was big, Armada Optimus is big, and they're all in tune with their actual sizes. But Sideways here is a smaller figure, and I believe he's in the same veins as, I'd say, probably Demolisher. I have vague memories of Demolisher. So now I'm going to open this guy and see what he's like. Okay, so here is Sideways in his vehicle mode, which is a motorcycle with his own personal driver. Now, before I take a look at the motorcycle, I do want to talk a little bit about this guy. I don't think he really had a name, but this is essentially Sideways' driver for his disguise. You know, like how Prowl and Animated had a hologram. Well, this is Sideways' yeah, this is his alternative to Prowl. Now, he is pretty cool, I would have to say, even if his design is a little clunky. The premise is a good idea that there are these two, actually I wouldn't even say minicons, I would say more like headmasters, because they do attach to his head, and I do believe that they control his body. So yeah, although it's kind of weird, again, you have way too long arms, you have odd feet, and it is kind of hard to get in balance. In fact, let me see if I can make the surface a little bit easier on it. It's kind of hard to get him to balance, actually. He was balancing fine before. So yeah, this guy is unique, cool, and actually it is nice when you get to put him on the motorcycle. Now, one problem is that the seat is way too behind, is at the very end. This is like where the motor would go. So you're supposed to put him on like this. I think something is supposed to peg in there, but I don't really see it. Oh, I get it. This is supposed to peg in, but I never really got that. Like, how do you peg this in? Huh. Again, I don't get it, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. Oh, I know what this seat is for. It's a back seat. I'm sorry. It's just for like passengers that sit at at the back. But anyways, one cool thing about the driver, which him and Sideways share, the driver and Sideways, is that his minicom ports actually act as, I don't know, would you call those gas pedals? Yeah, gas pedals, you know, when you go to start the motorcycle up, you know, vroom, vroom, vroom. So these minicom ports do end up becoming gas pedals, which actually is unique, and it's cool. And this guy is cool himself, as I've said before. He's made up of two minicons, or in this case, headmasters. I just really want him to stand up right now. There we go. That's good enough. He's a cool enough figure. I like him a lot, even if his back is really kibbly. He's got some work going on. But I like how the head is sculpted on fairly well, and all this stuff, it does actually make you feel like this could be part of a futuristic little motorcycle suit. Now, the way you get this guy to... You just attach him, and then you get this guy, who, when you push his head in... Whoa, nearly fell off. When you push this guy's head in, let's see if I can get the click. Ugh. There we go. You get crosswise, which will later become, spoiler alert, the Autobot head. Pretty cool guy, though he's kind of fat, and yeah, they're both fat and have stubby arms. They're actually kind of cute like this. Still can't get him to stand. What on earth is going on? There we go. And this guy is, I believe, Rook. He's the same guy, except he's slightly shorter. He's got, whoops, his feet are on backwards. His legs are backwards. There we go. He's pretty much the same thing, except he's shorter, and he's got, I think, even thinner arms. So there are those two, and you can put them on. I guess both of them can latch on, but I guess you spread their legs apart like this. Can I peg them in? Ugh. Supposedly it's supposed to be part of the gimmick, but I can't get it to work as of now. If I separate these legs apart, and I try to get them on there... There we go. I guess kind of, nah. It doesn't matter. It's kind of a dumb thing anyway. You don't really need anything. All you need if you want these two to ride it is you have, I guess, crosswise here, driving it, and you would have Rook here. Whoops. Riding behind him. Oh well, I'll go deeper into this. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. There we go. Yeah, you would have him riding on like that. So anyway, you take them off, and for the motorcycle itself, this isn't a bad mode, and there's no real kibble. I really can't see any visible robot parts except for two things. Yeah, except for two things. You can see a little bit of his head if you look past the transparent plastic, and his fists are right below, right next to these... well painted on missiles. It's actually kind of cool. It's almost like it's real flames. It starts out clear, then it goes into like a fiery color, which is neat. You've also got two wheels, and one thing I like is that it always balances, much like real motorcycles with I believe they're called parking assists. Yeah, parking assists, where you have the gleaming metal bar so that when you park your motorcycle in the garage, it stays like this. It leans to one side and it's balanced. This one, his arms and these pieces of, plastic act as a balance so that even when you let go, they still balance, which is neat. And also, he rolls fairly well, too. I guess I would show it, but I don't have too much of a space here. So yeah, there we go. The mold detailing is nice, and even if purple is not the best color for, in my opinion, such an awesome, really rad character. I wouldn't say rad, what am I saying? Like a really cool character that just doesn't care about anything and will not stop until he has won and beaten everybody. Keep your enemies down. Yeah, although purple and yellow wouldn't exactly be the best color, it still kind of works out. The purple's dark and the yellow's not pure yellow. I actually see some orange in it. But these blue headlights are also pretty cool. Look at that. It actually looks like they're glaring at you at some time. It actually looks like they're glaring at you. Pretty creepy. Then, of course, you have other stuff. The wheels. Yeah, the Unicron pegs as usual. And that's pretty much all there is to say about Sideways here. To transform him, take his bottom. Let me see if I can let's see if I can raise it. Take his bottom. Separate it, which will expose the arms. Separate his feet, which can get tricky. For the legs. Whoops. Then take the feet, rotate them downwards, and make it so that within this pet, just kind of fold them in, and you can see it from here. Make it so that they click in, like this. Then afterwards, the chest will rotate down. Now the hard part is getting these shoulder pegs into the sides of his chest. Also, you're going to want to take the wheels and make it so that, let's see if I can get them. Yeah, just fold them behind. You're going to want to bend this in order to get them out of the way. Ta-da! Then afterwards, see if you can peg these two into the chest. You're going to want to have to get the right angle so that they meet up eventually. So you're going to want to bend one, but then bend, let's see, like this. The other joints. There we go. Now, come on, peg in. Okay, that one's pegged in, and there we go. Okay, so afterwards, after you're done, and there we go, he's done. No, I'm just joking. You have to take the head. Let's see if I can pull it out. There we go. And here we have sideways in his... Oh, and one last thing important. Rotate the arms. And there we go. So this is... Whoops. So this is sideways in his robot mode. Now, some parts of it, I won't lie, are odd. His chest is really, really big. Although I kind of like it at the same time, it is odd that his gun barrels, or his missiles in this case, go down to his ankles. I mean, they're practically as long as, like, half of his body. And they are actually long, they are just as long as half of his body. And he kind of has this weird backpack, but it's not a bad backpack, really. It's actually reasonable. So, anyways, but aside from that, this is a pretty good robot mode. You still get the glaring blue eyes, but you also have the fists, of course. You have some nice legs. You've got a not too big backpack. And actually, you have a very weird yet retro-looking face. You only saw this face once in the show where Sideways told Hotshot, "Didn't I tell you not to trust anybody?" And then boom, he became a Decepticon. And as you would expect, there is no emblem on his chest. What emblem on his chest? Well, before we get to that, let me say the last negative thing, really, about this robot mode. One of his gimmicks. The missiles need minicons in order to fire. I absolutely hate that. Why can't you just go the path of Armada Optimus Prime or Armada Galvatron? You need minicons just to do something as simple as firing the missiles? What the hell? So, yeah, that was pretty lazy. Very lazy, if you ask me. Not lazy. You have to try hard to make something this hard. Want to get a minicon on there? Then, let's see. Come on. Ugh. Don't like that at all. Don't like that. You should be able to fire them with just spring. And it's pressure. You just insert a little thin plastic bit here. Then the ball goes in, kind of like Armada Galvatron on his tank, like on his main tank barrel. But that was at least spring-loaded, so you didn't need a minicon. Come on. It's even hard to get it back in there. Come on. There we go, when it brings the minicon port up. Definitely not the best part of Armada Sideways. But I'll tell you what is one of the best part is his gimmick. So what you're going to do is that, here we go, with the head, you're going to want to take either, depending on what faction symbol you want, oh God, stay up. There we go. You're going to want to take either crosswise or rook. And see, and again, you'll soon discover which Autobot symbol, I'm about to put on the Autobot symbol, which faction symbol he's going to get. You plug the head down, and there are two little exposed panels here. there they are, those two light gray panels. And what they do is that, and what Crosswise and Rookta do is that when you fold their legs down, let me see, there we go, when you fold, not their legs, when you fold their arms down, they can actually dig into these panels. Let's see. And when they go down, they will activate some sort of springed mechanism that will show a faction symbol. Now, and also what really what makes the gimmick different, you know, aka how they reveal their own symbols, is how wide apart or far apart their arms are from each other. So as you can see here, yeah, Rook has Rook has more space than Crosswise, which is why Crosswise is harder to fit on, and he creates his own faction symbol. So you take him, and I like to do this, make him just like in the show, give him those thin, wide-angle horns. Then you place him in there. Let's see if I can get it at the right angle, and also his head will go into the top of the normal robot head. Let's see if I can fit it in. Let's see, it's not in exactly perfect. Let's see if I can get a right angle. There we go. That's good enough. So here, and also with each one you take the forehead, push it up, and there are his red eyes. So this is Sideways in his Autobot form with Crosswise. Now, this is actually a pretty cool gimmick, and I like the fact that there are different shells of panels in order to determine what faction symbol you see, and both symbols are painted on well. But my main gripe with Crosswise is that these big little red panels actually look bug-eyed. Like those look like his real red eyes, and not the small ones that are in the center of his face. So that's pretty, not too annoying, but it would have been nice just to make these maybe a darker shade of red, but oh well. And luckily, that's not the mode I want to put him in. Because he was like this throughout most of the series, he was only an Autobot for, I think, a few episodes. Of course, Crosswise, took off. I told you you should never trust anybody. Let's see if I can get at the right angle. Let's see, no, I don't want that. Come on, the horns go this way. There we go. Arms right angle. And they push down the outer panels. And you get his Decepticon mode. You push him up and it reveals the purple eyes. How fitting. So this is how Sideways appeared throughout most of the series. Now, as I've said before, he was really the herald for Unicron, so it's kind of frustrating that you can't really have him like exactly like he was in the show, because for some reason he could still have Rook on, but he didn't have the Decepticon symbol once he told the team, "Hey, listen, I'm a spy for Unicron. All of you join with Unicron or perish." And then he lost his Decepticon symbol. But that never happened in the show. That doesn't happen in this toy, sadly. You always have to have the Decepticon logo with Rook here. There we go. You always have to have the Decepticon symbol with Rook here, and there's no way to get his symbol blank unless you use the normal, not too good head. In fact, the normal head was, I think, just made because, you know, if you lost the mini-cons, you would still have a head for the figure. But this gimmick is really what pulls him through, and overall his show accuracy is pretty impressive. Articulation, sadly, is limited, but I have found a little bit of a trick. It's nothing too special. Of course, you can have, also these get unpegged easily, these shoulders, but it really doesn't matter. These can go up, even his wrist can move. Like that. You can actually extend them outwards, but then again, of course, that will unpeg them. But I actually like to do that sometimes. But most of the time, I just like him to aim forward like this, like, yeah, I cross everybody I meet, and I don't care. His legs can extend like this. He even has some ankle articulation, and that's usually what I do. I have to be lucky, but if I can get them at the right place, I can have them kind of crouching down like this. Then I position the ankles in a right right place so that he's stable, and I can get him standing. In fact, I actually think maybe I could do it right now. There we go. I actually can't believe I got on the right try. So yeah, that's my little articulation trick for Armada sideways. So gonna get crosswise here. So anyways, everybody, what would I say about this figure? Well, if you don't like, again, if you think the negatives are just too scarring for this figure, then I guess you shouldn't get him. But if you like an interesting gimmick and you're just a fan of Armada, if you like cool gimmicks, you know, with Headmasters, if you're a Headmasters fan or if you're an Armada fan, you should definitely get this. It is definitely worth it. And if you just love the character of Armada sideways like I do, you also should get this. Sadly, he does not come with a card, but for me personally, with new technology, I can actually create my own card for Armada Sideways that looks almost exactly like what he was released with. But the box does kind of make up for it by having a really, really cool advertisement picture. Let's see if I can get them out. Oh, I guess I could over this. I didn't really need these, actually. Instructions with pictures, but again, all in Korean, so, oh, sorry, sideways. Yep, Korean instructions, which I didn't really need, but you also have some cool advertisements. And in fact, what's interesting is that it shows the Korean releases of other figures that not a lot of us have known. In fact, this is really rare, I think. Here is Super Mode Optimus with normal yellow instead of the gold a lot of people hated from the figure. So here's Super Mode Optimus with normal yellow instead of gold. The advertisement is pretty you know, just bursting with energy like you would expect from South Korea. Open Gundam style. Sorry if you can't see all of it. Some nice fan art. Just look at that. Optimus and Megatron. Now I'm stretching over, but I really want to show you all of this. Just look at that. Hotshot, Thrust, Cyclonus, Blur, everybody. And there's the man himself. And also here's Unicron. Unicron, there's Sideways himself. Like a boss. Maybe in the future I'll show Korean releases for other Armada figures. And this one was actually... They could be reissuing these. Finally, Armada reissuing. They reissued him. He was only like $25, so that's a good price for the Armada line, where some go for 50 or 70 or even, I'd say, $50. But this guy was only 25, so I would recommend you get him while the deal is still hot if you really want him. And I would have to give him, I'd say, yeah, an A. Maybe barely an A, but still an A. So that is my review for Armada Sideways. It's a really good figure, and on to the next one. As long as there is hate in the universe, Unicron will never die.
Support Cybertron. Subscribe.